Hey guys, and welcome back. Illusion here with you again as we continue part 2 of our Ender.io conduit spotlight / demonstration. Today's video we're going to be covering fluid conduits. So I've broken this series down into multi-parts because each video I do I'm going to add some complexity of the builds into it so you can kind of build off the knowledge that we learned in the previous video. So let's go. So as you may have guessed, 3 different tiers of fluid conduit. The base model tier is just called fluid conduit. It can extract 50 millibuckets a tick. It can flow 200 millibuckets a tick per connection point, and it respects gravity. We're going to talk about the gravity thing here in just a second, but it's kind of self-explanatory. Recipe: quite clear glass, which is nothing but sand. It's actually quite clear glass is really Aura dictionary for sand, and you can see there's tons of recipes for it to use, and that's surrounded by the typical conduit binder, which is the standard for all of the Ender.io. So each of the different tiers will be using that conduit binder. Also, you can mouse over and press shift. You can actually see some more information, basically the same information I'm giving you in this video. So we move on to the second tier, the middle tier, pressurized. It's made with fused quartz, which is nether quartz and a alloy smelter, or a block of quartz to get one. Again, it's got a little bit better specs than the previous one, basically double. But this is your entry level to no gravity. And the final on the top tier is the Ender conduit. Great numbers, again double of the previous tier. And it's more of an instantaneous transfer, and of course it does not have to deal with any gravity. So that's kind of what they look like. You can see the Ender's got a little more of a greenish tint to it, versus these are a little more clear. Now the recipe for the Ender, again more expensive. It does need that fused quartz we just talked about, and then some vibrant alloy. Vibrant alloy is energetic alloy and an Ender pearl, and again that same alloy furnace. So let's talk about using these in a little more applications. So this is the regular fluid conduit, and we're going to talk about how it respects gravity. So this is actually molten iron in there. Just pulled it out of NEI, nothing special. And we'll go ahead and extract. And you can see it's flowing. And you can see the flow rate. It's not fantastic, but it gets the job done, right? It's a cheap tier of pipe. And you can see there is a little bit of liquid, a little bit of fluid in the pipe, and again that'll drain out as well. So you can see it slowly kind of trickling out. And also, if you notice very slightly, there's actually some indication marks, some hash marks on the pipe to let you know what the actual conduit is doing. One thing I want to show you about using this Yeta wrench, I am in survival mode. This doesn't really work in creative, but if I come up and let's say I want to be able to control or kind of configure this one right here. If I press shift left click, it will actually go ahead and let me access that without having to go and click right on the base plate. So this makes it super easy when you're kind of in a tight situation and you may not be able to reach the base plate, but you can definitely click on the pipe. So you can just do like that. Pretty neat. So you can see it's pretty much fully transferred over. Still the pipe is still kind of trickling through. So again, this is the fluid pipe, the fluid conduit, the base tier. Now, since we're talking about gravity, see now I have both of these on the same Y level, and you can see they're pretty much balancing out. They're both set to in and out, in and out, and you can see since they respect gravity, they'll kind of try to equalize. So that's kind of more information about the gravity. Alright, now let's get into some applications of the no gravity situation. So again, using the molten iron, I have one tank here, one empty, and an empty tank here, and you'll see the transfer rate. So let's go ahead and set this to, we're going to set this to insert, and then we're going to set this to extract and get rid of the redstone. And you can see each cycle, it's almost instantaneous transfer. That's where it kind of gets the ender name of it. So pretty cool about the transfer rate. Now if you notice on here, you can actually have a filter in here. So if you want to say you want to filter that for water, we'll flip this back to insert. I want to filter it for water. You can see that tank is no longer receiving that molten iron because we placed that filter in there as more of a whitelist, so the molten iron will be excluded. Now if I clear the whitelist, which I believe just like that, bam, it's ready to go, start transferring again. It's pretty neat. Now with these ender conduits, you can do some cool other things. So we have here is I have a creative tank of lava, creative tank of water. Well, that's what you need to make your obsidian, right? And you can see I got the barrel flowing up there. This looks like it's already made 163 since right before I started recording, but I only have it going through one pipe. So that's the really cool things about these ender conduits, these ender fluid conduits, is you can actually use more than one liquid through the same pipe. And you can see I just set the filters like that, and this is a great way I was talking about. See, I can't reach the base plate, but shift left click and I can click on it. Same there. Just got them both set to extract. No trickery or anything like that. So multiple fluids to the same pipe. Pretty cool. Now let's go over and let's do a little bit more advanced stuff with this setup. Now you remember I talked about in the last episode we were playing with the conduit facades a little bit. So if I scroll over here, you can see I have some conduit facades over that pipe, and I got it nice flush mounted in the wall, and you really can't tell that there's any pipes there, so it looks really cool. But I'm just going to, well, I'm still in survival. Let me jump into creative and let me bust these up and we're going to talk about them. So what I have here is a combustion generator. And of course you need a combustion generator, you need something to burn, water to cool it, and then of course you need a power pipe to pull out the power and send it wherever you need to go. So let's turn this guy on. Always active. So you can see now through just this one block right here, I'm sending the fire water, sending water from this reservoir, and I'm pulling power back out to go into this capacitor. Really cool. And that's just why I really like the ender conduits, because it really opens up a lot of avenue for you to be very sleek about your designs. You can hide blocks and not too messy. It's very clean. Now once we start getting into more, let's say if we needed to have an item conduit in there, we could put an item conduit, again still taking up just one block space. So that's it for this video. It's kind of a shorter video, but I wanted to cover all three of the fluid tier pipes, and very cool stuff. Next thing we're going to get into is probably item conduits, and that's going to be a little bit longer video because there's so many cool things you're going to do. And then of course we're going to cover the ME conduit down the line as well. So hopefully you enjoyed part 2. Stick around for part 3. Let me know if you have any questions like always, and I will talk to you guys soon.